Hey, this is Karen. So I promised you another video, and I promised you in this video that I talk about what I mean by going with the flow. And please, this is exactly what it is. It's what I mean. And for me, it's all about this time I spend on the mat. And I've spent many hours on the mat. And so this is just my experiences. So I hope that you will just take these experiences and just let them resonate where they resonate for you. Going with the flow. I remember, I would think it's probably six, 7 years ago, I was at a Buddhist temple. And the Buddhist monk was doing meditation with us. And the Buddhist monk said, once you realize that nature is unpredictable, uncontrollable, unstoppable. Once you realize that, you'll find peace. And this has probably been one of the hardest lessons ever, is not to expect anything. And that's what I mean by going with the flow. Going with the flow is just not expecting anything, just being as present as possible with what there is. And for me, when I step onto my mat, it's also doing that, being present with the moment. And the moment is also the cycles of life. So what time of day is it? For me, this is what I do. What time of day is it? What kind of a workout do I need? Do I need something that's going to, build me up? Do I need something that's going to calm me down? I think about that every time I step onto the mat. And so my practices are going to be different. I don't do the same, practice every single day. And that's what I love about yoga, is that it's so diverse and you can do so many different things. But going with the flow is also about following the rhythms, following the cycles, following the seasons. So here in Denmark, it's late winter. And when I teach, I talk about the aspects of late winter according to the Ayurvedic medicine, according to Chinese medicine, according to yoga scriptures. Why is it important to follow nature's rhythm? Well, it is because nature's rhythm is also inside of us. So I would like to share this winter rhythm with you on the mat with yoga. So I'll keep talking about it as we go through some exercises, because this is what I love to do. This is what I do. This is what I teach. So let's get onto the mat here. If you don't have all these things at home, it's so easy. There's so many other things. So, a block can be a book, a blanket, who doesn't have a blanket, or a scarf, or whatever. If you don't have one of these bolsters, it doesn't matter, just use pillows. It's whatever's gonna work for you. The winter in Denmark can be very dark, can be cold, can be gray, and the winter element is all about hibernation. It's all about reflection. It's all about just slowing down. And in this hectic lifestyle most people live, we just don't do that. And unfortunately, I think that compromises our health. And with that, we need to be aware of our practice. So a typical winter practice would be a practice that's more slower. Doesn't mean you can't sweat, can't get up the heat or whatever, but things are going to be slower. So the Goddess series, which I did, slower, staying in the exercises a little longer, taking some deep breaths, being aware of the presence of that that moment, of that exercise, and staying put. The other thing would be this series, which I just absolutely love, which I call the Dragon series. So it's wonderful for hips, lower back, inner thigh, outer thigh. And what you're going to do is you're going to start on all fours. You're going to place your hands with shoulder width distance apart, and you're apart. It's almost like you've got a box. You know, a box can go right in between your arms and your legs. And then what you really want to be aware of is, you know, connecting to that mat. So grabbing with your fingers and looking, you know, at the whites of the nails in your fingers. And another important thing is the feet. So a lot of the times pushing the top of the feet into the mat, which is going to release some of that pressure on your knees. And if you need to support the knees, well, this is where you grab onto your blanket and you know, maybe put that underneath your knees. So, you know, this could be this. Or you can even make it thicker. Or you can even bend the mat like this and put your, you know, your knees on there if you need that. So, you know, really be aware of what kind of support you need. I have found personally that a lot of the pressure you can take off the knees if you use the body. So pushing through the top of the feet, you know, I can almost actually lift my knees off the ground. Grabbing and lifting the chest rather than hanging is also helping. So a couple deep breaths here in cow and cat. So you breathe in, lifting the forehead, breathing out, rounding here. Breathing in, lifting the forehead, lifting the chest, breathing out here. And, you know, just take 1 minute doing this. Breathing in, breathing out, which is just going to really open up through the chest and the back and just give some nice juice to the core area of the body. And it's, you know, going to help keep up the heat. So once you've done that, you're just going to lift yourself up and you're going to bring your right foot forward. So when you bring your right foot forward, go all the way out to the edge of the mat so that there's, you know, again, you create this space between the hips. I often see people with not enough space between the legs. And then what happens here is this is what's called the dragon series because you're creating the tail of the dragon. So your front foot, grabbing there, your ankle just underneath the knee, and then you're coming into what's called the high dragon. So these poses are typical yin poses. And yin yoga is this yoga that works with the connective tissues. And when you work with the connective tissues, you stay in these positions longer. So this pose, you can stay from 1 minute to 3 minutes. So again, use your little clock, watch, whatever you want to do to just kind of get into this pose. So first dragon pose, high dragon. And yin is winter, you know, kind of energy because it's slow, it's deep, and when you stay in these positions, you are really focused on being here. So again, not expecting anything, just being here and just feeling this opening of the left hip, and maybe you're going to be feeling something in your lower back. You want to keep the chest lifted. So be wary that your stomach is not falling down on the thigh. So like I say, 1 to 3 minutes here. Then once you've done that, you're going to go lower. When you go lower, you're going to bring both your hands to the inside. And here you might think, this is difficult for me. So I brought 2 blocks, and you can put the blocks like this, and you can put your hands on them. If it's hard on your wrists, you can make a fist. If you want to pile the blocks, you can turn them around, put 2 on top of each other, and put your hands here. If you want to bring your elbows down onto the blocks, you can do that too. Or you can lift your elbows and support your head. So there's so many options here. It's just a matter of using your imagination. You could even bring, you know, the bolster in. So the bolster could come in here and you relax onto a bolster if this feels good for you. So the next position, you're going lower, and again, 1 to 3 minutes. Then the final position you're going to do on this side, and I'm going to turn around so that you can actually see it from from the bent leg side. So I'm just gonna turn around here. So the next one is called the dragon's wing. So I'm still got my same leg forward, but what I'm doing is now I'm rolling onto the outside of the foot so that my leg is opening and I'm getting into what's called the dragon's wing. And here my hands are still on the inside of this leg, and I can use bolsters, use blocks, use blanket, whatever, or I can just come down with my elbows to the mat. And again, 1 minute here or 3 minutes, so 1 to 3 minutes, 3 exercises, your hips, your lower back is just gonna feel amazing. So this is only the right leg. So then you want to go over and do it on the left leg. Do the same thing. And personally, coming out of this position, let me tell you something too here, because this can be very difficult. People are stiff and sore and it's like, oh. So when I move out, I start by rolling my foot down. Then I might walk my foot out to the side a little bit until I can feel the hips release and the leg release, and then I can just pull it back. And then, I like to move in between the sides. So, again, cow and cat, doing some exercises here, just rounding the back, stretching the back. Maybe 1 minute there before I move on to my left leg. So, again, going with the flow. It's, bringing the whole aspect of the nature outside of us, which is also a part of the nature inside of us. Whether we are consciously aware of it, we follow the same rhythm of nature. And unfortunately, our lifestyles don't. So we need to really balance that energy by, yes, in the wintertime, sleeping more, taking longer breaks, slowing things down so that we can give ourselves that time for reflection. Because as soon as the spring comes on, that's when we're getting ready to move, we're getting ready to create, we're getting ready to be reborn. So right now, everything out in nature is under the earth. It's all, getting ready to move, to lift, to grow. The seeds are getting ready to sprout. Well, it's the exact same thing we should be doing. Spending more time just rooting ourselves and taking longer breaks and giving ourselves a little bit of self-love. So, go with the flow. Hope you like this little series too, and I'll be giving you some more soon. Have a great day wherever you are.